Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking on CapnclydesMTG. We got some more cards moving into market, and I think you should know about it because the more I dig into this, it's funny. And we need to talk about it. So, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Links in the description. The ways to support the channel. You buy some cards on eBay or TCG Player. Be a YouTube member for as little as $1. I think there's Patreon down there too if you're feeling froggy. So let's get into it and talk about some of these crazy cards that are moving the market. So we'll start off with this little fella. That's right, we've covered this before, but I got it deserves to be covered again. Because as of the 26th of December, this card dipped and made a comeback and gained ground. So you can see it came up. It's currently at a 92% increase. But what I thought was amazing was I thought the dip down was going to be the end of the card, bottoming out around $7 to $8. This thing is currently $9, almost $10, with most near mint copies going for $13.22. Now, as of the filming of this, cards are currently being listed at a lower price, around $10 to $11, $12. For the normal undercutting to sell cards fast online. But to me, I find it amazing that we just reported this was a $7 to $8 card, maybe $9, and now the card is anywhere from a $10 to $11. So yeah, if you see this card spike dip again like this, you probably want to go pick up a couple copies. So moving on to something a little new, which is also blurred out. But anyway, Angelic Accord, a list reprint, has made a spike to $6. Now, there are some of these cards listed for, as you can see, $150 plus $127, so basically $3. So why did this make the cut? Well, for one, the spike to $6, which is still prudent, is a 200% increase. Also, this is an uncommon. Last reprinted on the list, which is no longer existent, and not reprinted since. So it's a white and 3, beginning of your instep. Excuse me, the beginning of each instep, commander players. If you gained 4 more life this turn, you get a 4/4 angel creature token with flying on the battlefield. Now, what I find interesting about this is how the pricing is currently going on for this card. So if you look here, you can see right here is the pricing for this card. One listing, not a whole lot. But as you go up the list, we start at 3, basically 3, a little more than 3, a little more than 3. And now we're at 4 after 4 of these cards sell. Now we're at 5. Now we're above 5. Now we're to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So since this card spiked to 6, 7 people have realized they have one of these cards listed online at a cheaper price to just make some money. And that's fine. But does it change the fact that of these other 21 listings, there's $6 or more? And I think once these cards get bought out and people realize that, this $6 price is probably going to be the new norm. I mean, more people will come in and maybe undercut if they find some of these cards laying around in an LGS or a uncommon box somewhere. But it's going to take somebody noticing. And sadly, not enough people watch this channel. So if you got them or know somebody who does, go get them now before they realize they're worth money. So, moving on, next we have this little fella. That's right, the Paw Patch Recruit. Another report on him. He has spiked again since last report. He is now up to a $10 foil, even though the normal is only 3. The foil spike is very relevant as it used to be a $1.50 foil. As you can see here, this says a 100% spike. However, this is the going price currently. Unless some more have made it to the market, highly possible. But I think the biggest thing to also talk about for this little fella is this guy has now made it out of the sideboard of a lot of decks and into the main of many standard decks. And if that holds true moving forward, this slight jump here of 100% is going to get a lot bigger. So if you don't have them, I suggest you get them. Now, moving on to the next one, we have an oldie but a goodie Reckless Pyro Surfer. And I'm sure I know what you're saying. The Reckless what, Captain? Hear me out. Reckless Pyro Surfer, even though it was only around a 3-cent card and now is only worth about 8 cents, that is still over 100% increase. And you're probably thinking, well, what the hell does this thing do? Well, for a red and 1, it's a 2/2 with haste. But the key here that's getting it to see some play in Modern is the landfall ability to give it Battle Cry. Now, Battle Cry gives every other attacking creature +1/+0. And some people are using this in the Boros aggro deck to get extra damage in by just fetching lands and playing lands. And it's kind of interesting to see this pick up in popularity. Yeah. The crazy world we live in. But anyway, back to some normal absurd price gains. Next on the list, we have the Kappa Cannoneer, or Kappa, if you will. So for Modern Horizons 3, this is seeing a lot of spikes, but it's finally starting to settle back down with a modest 200% increase from around a quarter to about $2. Doing great in a lot of affinity/improvised decks, and making its way into Commander with a passion, as people seem to love this card in Commander for all their artifact needs. So, welcome to the list, Kappa. Probably the last time we see you, but hey, you never know. Weirder things have happened. Finally, we've got an interesting one. So, Beastmaster's Ascension, a Commander card from Bloomburrow that apparently everybody's been overlooking. So, this card started out around $4. Currently sporting a $8 price tag. That's roughly a 100% increase, really. This one's currently saying here about 79, but hell, going from 425 range to 747 is pretty good, especially with the listings being around $8. So what this card does for a green and 2 is whenever a creature you control attacks, you get to put a quest counter on it. As long as the Beastmaster Ascension has 7 or more quest counters on it, creatures you control get +5/+5. So the thing with this, it says whenever a creature you control attacks. So I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, if you swing with 7 creatures, it gets 7 quest counters, and all of a sudden everything's +5/+5. So it's probably so ham for a token deck. If I'm reading this right now, there may be an errata for it, and I didn't go check. But if that is the case, because it says whenever a creature you control attacks, put a quest counter on it, you literally could, for 3 mana, just +5/+5 your whole team permanently. Now, granted, it's not flash or anything. It has to hit the creature and yada, yada, yada. But let's be real. In Commander, we've seen stranger. So if you haven't got one of these yet or know somebody who has one that's still cheap, it might be a good time to pick up a copy or two in case you want to make a green deck. So moving on, next we have good old Hazel Brewmaster. This card really surprised me. This thing has severely spiked from around $5 to $6 all the way up to almost 20, with a 228% increase at 16, which is where the normal market price is, but a lot of near mint copies going for 20 once you get those cheap ones out of the way. So for a black and 3, this 3/4 menace, when it enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and create a food token. Foods you control all have activated abilities of all creatures, cards exiled with the Brewmaster. And that is just insane. The things you could do when, like, I don't know, exile someone's Hermit Druid, exile someone's Deathrite Shaman. Um, I mean, you could exile a creature that has a static ability for when you attack, and then just play something that animates your artifact, like, I don't know, Karn. Okay, well, Karn's a bad example to kill a token, but you get where I'm going with this. So, yeah, keep an eye out. If you can find one of these cheap, might be a good time to grab one before it gets out of hand. Next, we have the goodie but an oldie, and I figured it deserves to be on the list. It's beginning to see a lot of play in Commander, especially. Flowering of the White Tree, the showcase scroll version from the Lord of the Rings Christmas edition. This thing has went from roughly $6 all the way up to $12, giving it about 100% increase as well. However, some cards have come to market to knock that price down as it floats around $8. But $6 to $8, that is still close to a 25 to 30% increase on a card that a lot of people were sleeping on. So if you've got one of these, now might be a good time to get rid of some extras. But I'm sure you don't have one because nobody bought this set when it first came out. Which is why we're all paying an arm and a leg for all the cards and the set now. So, yeah, go team. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Until next time, be kind. And as always, I hope to see you across from the game table. I want to open some Innistrad. God, it's to go wait 2 more weeks.